Hi everyone, Chef Mark with Appliance Factory and Mattress Kingdom. We're back in the laboratory and I need you to stop doing this. Cutting an onion the wrong way. Guys, you're killing me. There's a million videos online how to cut an onion. There's a million people out there saying cut the onion the right way, and yet I still see it happening. All right, let me tell you what I'm talking about. Here's an onion. It's a red onion. It's not very fresh. It's gross. I don't want to use this one. Let's use this one. This one's a little nicer. Let's identify the two sides of an onion. There's the root end. This thing is, we're gonna leave that on when we cut an onion. We're gonna leave that on because I like to identify what side the root end is. It's the handle that we hold on to. This is called the non-root end. Now here's the mistake I see happening all the time. It's killing me. It's people cutting an onion in half this way through the equator. Once you cut an onion this way through the equator, you have lost all control of your food. If you cut an onion this way through the meridian, then you have options. Let me demonstrate both the right way and the wrong way. Okay, here we go. So I got an onion right here. I'm gonna cut it in half through the equator. And I get why people do this. It's like, well, cut it in half. Of course, cut it in half like it's the earth. And you cut the earth in half through the equator. Okay, now I have one half with the root end, one half without the root end. It's hard to peel. Okay, it's really hard to peel now. And then once I peel this, I've got these kind of like dome-shaped things, and they're not consistent. One side's got the root end, one side doesn't have the root end. So right there, I'm now inconsistent. So I'm gonna cut this off, then I'm gonna cut this off. Okay, now I wanna make a dice. All right, so I see this a lot. Okay, and then turn. Okay, now that's not a dice. That's a bunch of like odd shapes that like, see like that? That's not gonna cook evenly. That's not gonna cook evenly next to this, next to that, right? If you cut things the same size, they cook evenly. You can control, to a certain degree, what your food turns out like based on how you cut it. If you cut it smaller, you're gonna have more surface area than if you cut it larger, and you're gonna end up with different cooking times and different flavor rates. Okay, so let me show you the better way to do it. All right, before I get to that, I got a little story to tell you. I was at the grocery store today, and we're here in Denver, and we're off of 84th and I-25, Thornton area. The closest grocery store is Federal Heights, and I love that store. I go there all the time. I actually live in the area. It's over by Waterworld. So I know everybody there. I know the cashiers. I have the Chef's Mobile, so I drive it over there. So, I don't know, kind of people know me over there, and I love that store. They do a great job for you. And I'm in there, and the fire department's in there. And I love it when the fire department's shopping because, you know, those guys, and women, they're really fit and they're really strong, and they probably eat a ton. I can only imagine. So they're looking at the produce section, and they're like, what should we make for a vegetable tonight? And I said, hey guys, I'm a professional chef. Can I suggest snow peas? And they're like, oh, well, that's interesting. Do we have to do anything to them? I'm like, yeah, you gotta like snap the end and peel off the string on each and every one of them. It's kind of a pain in the neck. One guy said, you know what? Whoever loses the push-up contest will clean the green beans. I love that. Lose the push-up contest. You gotta do kitchen duty. I love it. So anyways, that was on my mind. I wanted to tell you about that. Thank you, Federal Heights Fire Department, for keeping us safe. I appreciate it. Okay, back to onions. Let's identify again. Root end, non-root end. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to cut off the non-root end. I like to cut that off first. I like to leave the root end on just so that I can clarify which side's what. And I'm gonna cut this in half through the meridian. Now when I go to peel it, look how easily it peels, right? It gives me like a little bit of a handle to pull back on. Yes. Okay, I'm happy with that. Then, both sides are now even. I don't have one side that's bigger or smaller than the other. They're nice and even. And then when I go to dice, what I'm gonna do here is I make a few slices down. I'm gonna make a cross cut here. This is the tricky part. What I like to do is pull my food way back here and use the back of my knife as like a pivot point. Kind of cut up and then under my fingers, right? So then when I come through, look, everything's nice and even. They're all identical. And then the root end, which I'm gonna throw away anyways, is the handle that I hold on to when I'm working, and I'm doing the one eye thing because this is a pretty strong onion. Typically, if your onions are really strong, it's because they're a little on the old side, which these are. They're not very fresh. Okay. Now, one last tip for you, for everyone. Before I move on here, let's talk about freezing vegetables. Stop freezing vegetables. They don't turn out great. If you're buying frozen vegetables, those are frozen at a different rate, so they tend to hold up a little better. And I use frozen vegetables at home for myself. Oh my God, it's killing me. You know, if you're freezing, I don't know, broccoli, it's not going to turn out right when you pull it out of the refrigerator. However, there are some things that freeze beautifully. This is a kaffir lime leaf. Freezes beautifully. Ginger, it freezes great. You can pull it right out of the freezer and you can just grate it right into your food. Tomatoes, not so much, unless you're making tomato sauce first. So think about when you're freezing vegetables, are you preserving them also? So like when I freeze ginger, or my kaffir lime leaves, or my bird-eye chilies, a lot of the Thai ingredients happen to freeze very well. When you're freezing your ingredients, think about, are you also improving the quality of them? Are you preserving them as well as making them better for the future? So, you know, I was in a home the other day, I saw a bundle of scallions in the freezer. That's not gonna work. You pull them out, they're gonna turn to mush, you've broken all the cell walls by freezing them. They've lost all flavor, they're not gonna cook right. You know, scallions are cheap, so just use them all for the recipe and then go to the store and buy them again next time you need it. All right, so anyways, everyone, please, please, please cut an onion in the right direction. Every time somebody cuts an onion in the incorrect direction, a little bit of my soul dies. I promise you that. All right, everyone, this is Chef Mark with Appliance Factory. Hit the subscribe button. I'll wait. Thank you.